Hey, good morning and good beautiful day and beginning of a week and almost beginning of a new year to everybody. Put on up. Let's go ahead and learn and educate ourselves so we prepare for this upcoming tax season. Speaking of upcoming tax season, I got a treat for all of those who are in attendance. The tax lady herself is going to kick us off this morning with a few tax tips and some key things that you should consider. So don't go nowhere. Without further ado, here is the tax lady music.
Hey, y'all. Can y'all hear me okay? Just making sure I can be heard. Let me know. Well, I don't hear a no, so I'm going to move forward. What's up, y'all? We are literally in counting digits away from the live tax season. And when I tell you, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This tax season is definitely going to be an amazing one. So I don't know all of the good treats and all of the good things that we have to look forward to as of yet. Actually, no one does. However, I can feel it in my Sha-na-na that is about to be a good one. I mean, let's go. So, one of the things I want to talk to you, actually, two of the things I want to talk to you guys about before we get started. First of all, let me just say this. If you are using this platform as a means of training, it is imperative that you go ahead and you subscribe to our YouTube channel right now and you hit the notification bell so that whenever we go live, you are in the know. I know I've spoiled a lot of you all and you're used to me sending you the link as soon as we go live, but if I am live, it is actually counterproductive for me to actually send you the link. And in addition to that, you need to be creating activities that are duplicatable for yourself. Okay, so what you want to do is train your team that whenever you are, if whatever platform we're using, that is the same platform that they are going that they utilize. So get resourceful in a way that is conducive to future growth. What does that look like? That simply looks like subscribing to the channel, encouraging your team to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that whenever we go live, they get a ding and they get a reminder so that they know at 11 a.m. we are live. So, two important things I want to share with you today before we bring on the amazing, the magical, the one that everyone loves, Mr. Vince Taylor. Okay. Excuse me, the real Mr. Vince Taylor. Okay. Not the fake one. It's the big V, not the little V. So before we bring Vince on, I just want to talk to you guys about two things that you should right now be engaging in. Number one is going to be A activity. Number two is going to be B activity. Okay. Now, these things are going to be super duper uber important. What are the differences? A activity is the activity that gets you the money. Okay? A activity is the activity that gets you the money. B activity is the activity that supports and leads up to the money. Now, which one would you say is most important? The one that gets you the money or the one that leads up to the money? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I hear the Jeopardy bell. I'm not on YouTube right now. I'm on StreamYard, so I can't see what's going on YouTube. But on the Jeopardy bell, somebody got to be answering me. Is it A activity or is it B activity? Which one is most important? It's going to be, which is it going to be the one that leads you to the money or the one that actually gets you the money? Okay, I'm gonna say somebody's right. Okay, I don't know who it is, but definitely the A activity is the activity that gets you the money. Period. The one that supports the money is always good. The one that helps to lead you to the money is always good. But the one that actually get like income producing activity that gets you like changes time for dollars, that's the activity you need to be engaged in right now. Tis the season. You understand? Now's the time to be engaging in the A activity. Give me some examples, B. Okay, you asked for it, so here it goes. B activity are all good activities. Don't get me wrong. Okay, they're great activities. B activities are activities you're picking up the phone and you must do this. Call your clients, even the ones that you've collected throughout the season this year, marketing, and you have their information and you're scheduling a consultation. Those are B activity, must be done. Any form of marketing, all B activity must be done. Can you have A activity without B activity? Absolutely not. You must be engaging on a daily basis in B activity. But B activity is the activity that creates the snowball effect that's going to cause the what is it, the avalanche in your business. So you've got to engage in the B activity, but until you are doing A activity, you ain't done nothing. Okay, understand what I'm saying? B activity, B activity, B activity, B activity, B activity is what is important to create the avalanche in your business so that you can now be engaging in A activity. 80% of your work day in this industry needs to be engaging in A activity. If for any reason you are not currently engaged in or at this present moment engaged in A activity, and A activity is actually doing the tax return. A activity is actually sitting across on a Zoom with a client. A activity is actually enrolling a client into your software. A activity is actually getting a client the link so that they can upload their data. That's all A activity. You are getting the money. That is the money. B activity is setting up your website. That's all B activity, should have been done already. B activity are things like, you're setting up your DM messages. We've already done that weeks ago. That should be done already. Okay, sending them out is B plus activity. Getting them out, committing to sending at least 10 a day, B activity. You got to be religious about your B activity so that you can have the results of the A activity. Now, is this making sense to absolutely anybody today? I need to know, are you getting the differences between A activity and B activity? Both of them are going to be important. Both are very, very important. But what is going to be paramount for your success in this industry is how much A activity you are engaged in. Can the business be successful without B activity? Absolutely not. It will not be. You will fail if you are not engaging in B activity. But if you are not actively doing A activity, you ain't making no money. And the truth is that so often we find ourselves, I've seen it happen time and time again. People are busy. They're just busy. They're just busy, busy doing stuff, busy, busy, busy. B activity and no production into the A activity. B activity is not transition. It's not doing its job. Okay, so understand, if you're doing a B activity that's not producing A activity, then you need to switch up the type of B activity that you're doing. So understand that this is going to be so important for your success. And I know that some of you are wondering too, another thing, what types of B activities should I be engaged in right now? Right? Some of you are asking, okay, B, I hear you're saying, okay, a lot of you went out and you flyer your communities, your neighborhoods, your churches, and we're doing that every day, every night. You're doing guerrilla marketing, you're combining it with social media marketing, and all of that is amazing. That is amazing. Those are the B activities that you want to do. Those are the types of things you need to be engaging in every single day. Every single day, you and your team need to be going out, letting people know that you're the people that they need to come and see, that you are the friendly neighborhood tax guy or friendly neighborhood tax lady, okay? Or friendly neighborhood tax consultant, whomever you are, they need to know you as that person visiting the local nursing homes, letting them know right now's the time that you're dropping off your flyers and you're letting them know who you are. In another week, when they're getting their W-2s around the 7th of January, you're dropping off donuts with your flyers, okay? If you got a key point person in that organization that you know is influential, that can bring you other people, you are taking them lunch. You've got to be strategic with this. You understand? So that key point person in that organization, that maybe it's the warehouse, maybe it's a nursing home, maybe it's a hospital staff team, whomever it is, the key point person there is your contact person, and you know that that person is going to bring you people. You're buying them lunch because you're going to make the person that's referring you look good. All right. So remember, everyone gets free consultations. You're looking over their work just to see what we can do. Excuse me, y'all. I'm just getting over the bird, monkey, hippo flu, or whatever it's called, something kind of animal flu. And I don't even eat animals. That's the crazy part about it. Lord Jesus, have mercy. But God is good, and I feel great. So just keep in mind that those are the things you want to be sure to be engaging in. Vince, do you have anything you'd like to add to A activity versus B activities and the type of activities that you need to be engaging into right now?
No, I don't. Um,
Okay.
it's sounds good to me. Other than, I mean, just maybe for those who are just getting into it, um, who may not necessarily have a war chest. Um, how would they? What are some other creative ways if they don't have enough to pay for everybody's lunch and stuff like that, that they be able to get everybody engaged?
Yeah, absolutely. They can just take their flyers. They don't have
Mhm,
to buy lunch. You know what I mean? They could just take their flyers. Anybody can afford $2.99 Walmart donuts. Take them a sheet of donuts if you can. Even if you can't do that, just take them your flyers. Just being consistent and being a smiling face. Remember, leave your attitude at home. Okay, that's
mhm,
going to be super important. Your attitude does not belong in the workplace. Have a positive attitude when you go out, because regardless of what, like I said at the beginning of our trainings, that this is an energy business. It's an energy. If you got an attitude, if you ain't feeling good about something, then your business is going to be affected. Okay, you
mhm,
having a bad family life and just things are just going all to hell and everywhere else but heaven, you're gonna have a bad, tax season day. So you can change that around by changing your mindset. You can change that around by switching your attitude, by affirming yourself on a daily basis, by trusting in God and moving by faith, knowing that it's not in your power, but it's God's power alone with your human effort and divine power that will result in success. Okay, so those things are going to be so important. And then also, just don't be afraid to reach out to one of the team members. Now, the private Facebook group is going to be your favorite workspace. The private Facebook group is going to be your favorite workspace during tax season. Why? Because some of the seasoned people will be going on, and as soon as we find out something new that can help the team, we're going live, we're sending you documents, we're giving you screenshots, we're giving you live examples. So it would behoove you to be in that private Facebook group so that you can go in and be in the know, constantly in the know, knowing um having everything that you need in order to be successful throughout the season. Because this is not something we're just showing you at the beginning of the season, just going to leave you high and dry. No, you're going to have to keep tapping back in. You're going to have to keep tapping back in. So this week is going to be so important. We know that New Year's is coming. And listen, new year, new you, right? Okay. So the same activities that you engaged in 2024 cannot be the same activities that you engage in 2025 if you want to have different results, right? That's called insanity. Expecting that's different results, expecting better results, but doing the same things, right? No, you've got to actually engage in things that are going to give you the results that you're looking for. So I'm excited for y'all, and I know that you guys get the whole thing about A activities. So I want somebody now that's on YouTube can give me some examples of A activities. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share one of someone's testimonial. As a matter of fact, I was talking to her today, and she was like, B, you told me to send everybody out my link to my platform so that they can start uploading their information. And she's like, well, I started yesterday and I already got one person that uploaded their information. That is amazing. I'm telling you, people are ready. They're just waiting for you. So get your information out, get things going, and know that you are in a position to have all the success that you know that you need and that you know that you deserve. But you've just got to be doing the right types of activity so that as the avalanche come in, you will be a part of that snowball effect. Okay? So I know it can happen for you. It's definitely going to happen for me. And it's going to happen for everyone who puts themselves in a position to win. So I'm excited. I'm super excited for y'all. and I cannot wait to see your continued success. Oh, and let me know, like, please, if you don't get to ask questions here, please go to Facebook, the private Facebook group. Ask questions there. I'm available there. I'm more than willing to answer whatever it is that you guys need help with. I'm more than willing to support in whatever way you need support in. And definitely, I want to welcome all the new team members. I'm going to call you guys names out. I don't know if you're actually on this live or not, but I definitely, let me see, where's my, oh, there's my phone. Okay, yeah. Well, all right. So if I forget your name, I do apologize, but I just, stop. Don't you dare. I was having I'm just getting over the bird monkey flu. So, listen, don't judge me. But anyway, okay. So I want to welcome to the team from the state of, I'm not going to call out states, it's just going to complicate things. Val, welcome to the team. Naya, welcome to the team. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting names already. Money, welcome to the teams. Kai, welcome to the team. Congratulations to Bishop James, welcome to the team. Congratulations to the team. Nayela, welcome to the team. I'm so super excited for you guys. Even like our new team over in LA, welcome to the team. I'm super excited. I know Money just brought on a new person. Welcome to the team. I'm super excited for you guys. I cannot wait to work with you. For Lisa Jones, Miss Busy Lady, welcome to the team. I know you guys are going to do amazing things this year. All the new team members from New Jersey that the Union County, New Jersey just brought on. Welcome to the team. We're super excited to see your growth. We're super excited that you guys have taken this opportunity to partnership with such a dynamic leadership, and that you guys are about to kill it in this industry. One thing I say all the time is that if you ever want to make $1 million, find a void and fill it. And this is an industry like death and taxes is not going anywhere. So you have positioned yourself. Like I know, I can't deal with dead people, but I can count some dollars, okay? And I can help you get some too. So death and taxes, if you are filling that void, then you'll never go broke. Just know that. So God bless you. Take care. Take charge. And I cannot wait to see you all win. Bless you.
Very inspiring. The inspiring Miss B. Appreciate you hanging out, Miss B, this morning. Man, for somebody with bird, swine, monkey flu, you sure got a lot of energy. I ain't going. That's just like you had a good Christmas. Hey. Okay, you ready for the season? Okay, cool. Well, listen, why don't you go ahead and get back to marketing? I'm sure you on the ball right now. With that
absolutely.
Time of year, we got to market. So let me go ahead and get into at least some of the stuff that we'll need software-wise, so we can make sure that everybody's equipped with what they need to be equipped with to do this right. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out. Appreciate you. And thank you, Miss B, for giving us those tidbits as always. I hope you rest, because we really legit only about 48 hours away from a whole new year in which, hey, blessings bestowed unto thee. Hallelujah. I don't do that as well as B, but either way. So I wanted to do a little bit of review today and then go into a little bit of additional information with regard to income input. Now, for you to be able to follow along with this today, you should at least have some of the information from the past few modules. I know some of them was kind of old school, some of them was even glitchy, so we got to get rid of those. But at bare minimum, you should have access to your GAP, or at least to your software. So you should be able to follow along with this. What do I mean by you should have access to your software? Well, that means that if you have this screen right here, all right, if you're able to access this, excuse me, then you should be able to follow along with this. So check this out. So most of us should be able to get to this screen right here, right? Like, this is non-negotiable. Like, this is how we actually file our taxes. So everybody should be able to get this far. And if you're this far, then we can continue. What we've done as of this, up to this point, is we've gone over A, how to access this, B, how to start entering information into this. But we also went over some of the preliminaries. Preliminaries is in what do you do before you start entering this information. So before I get into what it is we do with the software again, let me just reiterate a couple of things. So systematically, the way that most of us do that have been doing this for, over a decade or so, is we have an entry process. Okay, that entry process, of course, is variable depending on what it is that you want to customize your business as, or how you want to customize it. What we've done is we've basically arranged it so that folks can come to us based on appointment. Most of the time, appointment. Not gonna lie, walk-ins, of course, welcome, but I'm an appointment guy. And by the time of the appointment, we want to have the information that we need preliminarily already retrieved. So if my staff was to set an appointment for me, then say there's an appointment for today at 1:00. Then prior to that, we're asking them to provide for us so that we can service you appropriately your driver's license, all right, your social security card, your W-2s, okay, all those. Anything in addition to that that may be relevant. Also, if you have health insurance forms, anything of that sort, and any other 1099s or 1098Ts if you may have those, 1099Rs if you have any of those. If you have social security information, we need to get all of that. Did you have an IPIN? We need to collect that as well. Did you collect any unemployment last year? We need to collect that as well. Also, do you want direct deposit? If so, we need direct deposit information. Can you fill this out for us as well? And we want to go ahead and get all of this stuff up front so that we can get that information processed to start off with. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to sit there and get down to a point where like, all right, I've gotten this far. Can I get your It's like, now, when I get to an appointment, I want to have the bulk of it done or at least figured out. You know what I mean? Sometimes clients do wait because they trust you more than your staff to divulge certain information until they actually get you one-on-one. But before that, I shouldn't have to wait till I get to the appointment to have a W-2 to have your information so that I can enter it. All right. So at the bare minimum, you want to try to collect that in advance. Now, what I do in my place is I have a actual a digital file that I typically would use. Okay. So my digital files, they would typically have the person's information in the digital file. Now, just for today's viewings, I don't want to access, all of the personal stuff, but I will be showing some information that may be a little personal. This video will be set to private, so this can't be accessible to everybody. But for the time being, just make sure nobody, don't take this information. Like, if you're in this course, and obviously we assume you have some sort of integrity and decorum. So, and plus we know who has access. So please don't do anything crazy. All of it hasn't been redacted as it should, but as of this point, like I said, just keep in mind some of this information is personal. Some of it's mine too. That's why I'm being somewhat cautious. So check it out. How would we approach maybe say said new client? Well, let's just go here. This is a list of, this is what it looks like when I have all of my clients in a certain place to get their information. Hold on, let me pull this up. All right, so if you see here, so I have a bunch of these. Now I want to show everybody everything. But what I'll typically do is I'll give clients a way to upload their information to me. All right. In that, it'll be a form like this. Now, we have a system that actually allows us to do that with an app. All right. It's an upload your information to our app here. But once we get that, just a uniform way, I'll get the information. I'll keep it here. And then they'll give the driver's license. I'll separate everything, taxpayers. So we know the difference between the spouse and the dependents. Typically, you'll get the driver's license and the social security cards. Okay, keep them somewhere in a safe, dependable location where you don't have to worry about any hacking, anything of that sort. Then you get the dependents information, birth certificate, all right, along with social security cards and anything else that can drive a straight line between the dependent and the taxpayer. And we have this handy dandy thing. Now, if y'all want, we have access to this. Now, this is a client form that we use for intake. We kind of modify it as we go on an annual basis. But we ask for this information. It's kind of like a fill out sheet when you first walk into the facility. And we get your basic info: name, address, date of birth. Do you have dependents? What's your type? What type of occupation you may have? Also, I like this little bit at the bottom. I added ourselves this last year. How'd you hear about us? So that we can kind of give referral bonuses to those that do refer you to us. Also, I love this new addition. Did you file taxes last year? This is specifically for new clients. Did you file taxes last year? Oh, you did? Okay. What happened? You know, I think that the overwhelming majority of tax filing, in all honesty, and businesses is just superseding expectations. All right. If your client is expecting $100 million for a refund, then either you can tell them that's not going to happen, or you can tell them, well, here's why that's more than likely unlikely. Set the expectations better, right? And once the expectations are set to where you want them to be, then you exceed those expectations. But that's how I do the business. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so start by collecting the information, however way you see fit. I typically like to make sure I have driver's license, social security card, birth certificates for the dependents, everything that I need, everything that I could possibly have in advance for the client is necessary. We've already gone over this though, so I'm just reviewing. That's the reason I'm not pulling up the slides. All right. Now, once you've got that, the first thing you do is you enter the information. Let's just assume this morning we do have that appointment. Okay. So now we want to enter that information into our BIM software. So everybody here should be able to go to, I'm going to log out just so I can show you. This is what the page should look like. Okay. Everybody here should be able to access this page. As we discussed, you can access this by going to gap.cloudtaxoffice.com. All right. Gap.cloudtaxoffice.com will allow you to put this information in, and then you should be able to access all of your electronic files. Okay. So I'm going to put in my login right here. All right, going to put my login in right here. BIM. And now we are in the files. Okay. So what we did last time we met was we went and started to prepare some fictitious files of people that don't really exist. You know what I'm saying? And we were actually preparing Avery's file. Remember Avery? Little Avery. You know, he was at the cookout. You know, Little Lucky. This is Avery. Okay. And we actually had started his file. Let me show you what it is that I'm talking about. So down here, oh, let me get this out the way. Sorry about that. Down here on the right-hand side, I think you should be able to see my cursor. Yep. You see client search. Since we already entered Avery, BIM, he's already here. Okay. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping somebody's done this. If not, I tell you what, I'm going to speed through where we are to get us all up to speed. Okay. So what we did before was we could not, Avery's already entered. If he wasn't, the way we start a new entry is we say create new return. We put in the social. Now we had Avery's social before. I'll just put it up here real quick. This was the information we used for the social. All right. We also had declared that Avery was dependent, had no dependents, which is significant. Okay. Because that affects our filing status. All right. Filing status typically for those that are filing dependents, overwhelmingly for the most part will be head of household, but it is not restricted to head of household. It just means head of household means that you not only claim the dependents, but also that typically you have the lion's share of the income in the household, your name's on the bills, your name, you know, like you can easily prove that you are not somebody who is being, you know, who doesn't contribute to the bills in the household. Okay. So once we get that in BIM, it'll allow you to start putting in information. What information does it allow you to put in? Well, this is what we put in for Avery. So the first thing it'll ask you for is the filing status. Now we went over filing status. There are 6 filing statuses. There used to be 5. Now, because Alien is a filing status, we now add that to our list of filing statuses. So basic information would dictate that we enter the filing status right here, BIM single, married filing joint, or married filing separate. If you recall, married filing joint has a higher standard deduction. All right. It's about $28,000 of a standard deduction, which means you get a $28,000, roughly around that amount, 29,000 or something like that, reduction in your in your tax obligations with regard to your income. All right, just to kind of just recap that real quick, your married filing joint comes with a standard deduction of just about hold on, Grace, of just about $20,000, just under $20,000. So when you're doing a standard deduction with the married filing joint, what you're going to find is that they are going to have an instant reduction of about $28,000 from their taxable income as a result of the married filing joint. Married filing separate, you split that in half, but they don't give you credit for earned income credit for filing for your dependent, which is why a lot of folks who do have dependents tend not to file married filing separate unless their income outweighs their earned income benefit. I don't know if that makes any sense. I might have just spoke a little jargon. My bad. Let me take a step back. The overwhelming thing to remember is that if one files head of household, typically they will have to file with dependents. There's no way to avoid that. It must be with dependents. Okay. Single typically does not have dependents, but it doesn't mean you can't have dependents. Okay, you can be single and live under someone else's household. Say you're single and say you have kids, but you still live with mom, and mom still pays all the bills, but you take care of your child and you work a part-time job. You can still file as single, even though you have a dependent. It's possible. It's not something that doesn't happen, but primarily, overwhelmingly, for the most part, when you do have a dependent, for the most part, you'll end up filing head of household. Each circumstance is different, of course. Now, for this particular instance, we are filing as single. That's why we see single as our filing status. So let's go ahead and keep this going. We also did have to enter his information, and I'm going to put this back up here on the screen for a second. Oop, whoa. Huh. Well, that's a cool little screen. I didn't know I had that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put his filing info. All right. So, this is for the second one. I'm sorry. Well, we actually went and did a different one, but let's just assume that they're similar. You see the social security information, BM, that's where that will go. I know this doesn't match up. That's because we went on to a different example after Avery, but I digress. That's where you would put that. That's where you'd put the date of birth. Where would you find the date of birth? If they hadn't already showed you the information on this sheet right here, or something similar to where they give you all this information up front, all right, then you could easily, if necessary, shouldn't be necessary, but if necessary, you should be able to look on said person's driver's license. All right. And normally, even though this isn't correct, normally the date of birth will be on there. Okay. And this isn't real, but you get the point. Okay. Sure. Now that we know that, this is where we've put in the basic info. This is literally plug and chug. All you have to do is know how to type and how to read in order to do this. You put in the name, you put in the address, the social, the date of birth, you put in the occupation, preferably if possible. Not an obligation to continue, but it is helpful. And you also make sure you click which is their residential state as of now. Phone number as well, and email address will help you out, especially if you want to get their information through the portal as opposed to getting it through email. Once you get that, hit enter, bam, and this is where we typically left off. Now, if you had dependents, this is where you put the dependents. All right, put the dependents right here. But since we don't, we're going to go ahead and leave that blank. The one thing we did focus on, and this is where we're going to get caught up, and then we're going to start from here and then finish elsewhere, is with the W-2s, okay? So income information is vital, all right? This is what our business, our industry is based on completely. It is 100% based. We run, I don't want to say 100%, but it is based primarily on income. Why is that? Because folks that are coming to us either want to fulfill their obligation as a taxpayer by filing their taxes, claiming the income that they did, and either accepting the results or using whatever it is that they acquired throughout the year, i.e. receipts, mileage, or whatever other information to reduce their obligation or to potentially sometimes increase their financial outcome. A lot of folks get refunds. Most of our clients get refunds. I would say 90 to 95% of our clients get refunds. All right. Well, my clients, I can't speak for everybody else. And personal clients, not the business clients. I know Sharice is out there somewhere saying, they don't get no refunds. I get it. I know. All right. But since they do have income, we typically would want to collect their income documents, right? What are the income documents? As I stated before, the overwhelming majority of the world, the United States, knows that a W-2 is how you would indicate your employment income. Employment different from self-employment. Your employee income is when you work for a company and they have hired you as an employee. A little different from a 1099, which is more of an independent contractorship and you being hired as a company that hired yourself to work solely as a sole proprietorship. Typically a 1099 doesn't, at least the 1099 NECs, the non-employee compensations, typically the 1099s don't come with the taxes withdrawn, all right, withheld, all right. This is what I mean by that. And I said this before, but if you look right here, you'll notice that there's a box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all right. And if you look at box 1, you see that that's wages, right? Wages. That's how much this employee earned according to this company throughout the entire year. All right. And in box 2, that's how much taxes were collected from said person and paid to the IRS throughout the year from their income. So now that we see that person has paid taxes, that person is possible that they may not have to pay that much at the end of the year, or they may even get some of that back. That's a refund. That's a tax refund. The difference between a refund and somebody who gets a bunch of money back because they have dependents, okay? They paid taxes, so you can refund those taxes if you meet the requirements, which she may not. She may just break even. But if she had a 1099, big difference. Look at this. 1099, you look and you see number 7, non-employee. Oh, this is an old one. This says 1099 MISC, and my apologies, guys. I'm going to see if I can get a 1099 NEC up here, which is the more updated version of a 1099, because they don't typically say use the MISC in here anymore. I think it looks a little more like this. Okay. So you see this 1099 NEC for non-employee compensation. Now, notice anything different about this one as opposed to the other one? All right, this one has box 1, which shows the total of what this person received for earnings for the year from this company. But none of those other boxes have any numbers in them. And typically those numbers would indicate how much it is was withheld. Specifically box 4, federal income withheld, will represent how much they had withheld from taxes, how much was paid in taxes, which ultimately is their first source of information with regard to whether or not they're eligible for a refund from taxes paid. All right, they might still be eligible for credits and other tax different types of tax benefits that could apply to that year, but in terms of specifically tax refunds, like that's where that tends to come from. And I'm gonna skip ahead just a little bit, but you can tell because when you start looking at the results of the pages, a lot of us, when we do our taxes, we get this 1040 page at the end of the year, but you actually can determine how much of your taxes is what when you look down here and it shows you what your refund is made out of. Okay. And what it says right here, and this is something that I like to point out to people because they tend not to notice, because a lot of folks think that your tax refund check is money that you paid because I bought a car, or I paid taxes on all the food I bought all this year, or I had got this big TV, or blah, 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 blah. No, on the tax document, it doesn't even call it, here's your tax refund. Since your tax refund typically is a result of you paying more, or you showing that the money that you paid, we're talking about people who are not claiming dependents now, the money that you paid maybe was a bit much compared to now that we know your circumstances. We know that you had to, take care of yourself medically for such and such, and that you gave so many charities, or such and such, that you had a rental property, and we didn't know all those things. So as a result, we're going to give you back some of your money. That means you overpaid. So if you look on your actual tax document, you'll notice right here, it doesn't call this a tax refund. It calls it the amount they overpaid. You see this right here? You got to sometimes remind folks, like, look, what it is that you're receiving isn't necessarily a bunch of money that you paid that you're getting back. This is the taxes that you overpaid that we were able to qualify to get you back. This is primarily for folks who don't claim dependents, or at least when you do claim dependents, don't have the eligibility for earned income credit, because that's a huge bump. But for single individuals such as Avery here, this gentleman typically would be benefited from having taxes paid, and you can determine that by looking at the W-2. Okay. Yeah, I know Shasha. I know she over here like, man, look, man, my clients don't get no refunds, man. And I respect that. I want to get on that level someday. So Avery, all right, Avery. Excuse me 1 second. Ooh. So Avery, we've already collected his info and we've already entered his income information. And just to kind of catch us back up to speed, here's where we are with regard to his income information. Well, let's just review that basic info once more. So here's our basic info. We had already entered that. And what we did was we went to our federal section to enter the W-2. All right. You see the W-2. All right. Look familiar. All right. This is the same income information. I'm going to go ahead and go into the edit portion right here with the pencil. And you see, it's got the information from the W-2 in on the screen, right? Top company, Avery Sample, top company, Avery Sample. 123 Street Road, 123 Street Road. All right. But most importantly, down here to the boxes, all right? You've got box 1, 98.5. Box 2, 15, box 1, 98.5, box 2, 15. All right, everything matches up, and that's how you get the results. But, all right, one thing we didn't do before was we did not include the state information. The reason I didn't include is because typically if we're in Florida, which I know we all aren't in Florida, but if you are in Florida, we don't deal with state taxes, right? So we don't typically see anything in box 16 through unless we're dealing with an out-of-state client. But we will deal with out-of-state clients, especially since the world is smaller since the internet now. So ordinarily, if you do get somebody who has a state tax return, you'll see it at the bottom of their W-2. So if you look at the very bottom, boxes 16 through 20, those are going to be your state tax income bits of info. All right. And where do you enter that information? Watch this. So right here on the page, this is all my federal info. But if I scroll down looking for boxes 16 through, bam, 15 through. You see that right here. Now, there are obligations such as the state number, and those typically you are going to see on your W-2, but this one has a fake one, right? So it wouldn't register. But just for the sake of learning this, let's go ahead and enter this anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my state in here. This time I'm just going to choose random state, okay? The employee state number, normally you'll see it in box 17, box 15. Yep, it's right there next to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think it's going to accept this, but we'll put it in there for now. Anyway, the state wages are at 100K, unlike the 98 it said before. So let's go ahead and put that here, right here. We're going to put the state income tax, and I think it says 3,000. All right, so you see 3,000. All right, we're going to go ahead and put 3,000 right here. Local state wages, BM, 100K. All right, so we'll go ahead and put that down here in the same box. And then local income tax, BM, 4,000. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this right here. Y'all see that? Locality name. All right, there'll normally be like some initials or something. This one says USA. I don't think it's gonna accept this. I don't know if it will or not. But so this is now gonna add a state result in addition to the federal result. You see this number up here? This is our federal tax return based on this information solely. Okay. Now I've added the state. So let's see what happens. Oh. There's no, I don't think I can, I don't know if this is going to work because, all right, so in order for me to register the state, I have to go over here and actually put the state that it registers to. And since I don't have an actual state, just for the sake of doing this, I'm going to put just a random state. Okay, guys, so don't take this to heart. I'm going to do Massachusetts for now. Oh, they ain't ready yet. We can't even do state. Well, tough. This is where you would go. Maybe we'll revisit the state portion, but evidently it's not ready. The software is still updating as we have not officially opened up. We can't submit nothing right now. They're not going to send you no money right now. We might be able to do loans in a couple days, or advances, I should say. But yeah, the IRS isn't processing everything right now. So this is how you would do your income information. This is a basic W-2. Like literally, this is so basic. Like you have to be able to just plug and chug this information. This is basic. So hopefully everybody grasped this. All right. Now, what we were doing before was we were actually getting into another file in which there was a 1099 used in addition to the W-2. The 1099 can get a little more complex because 1099s, depending on what kind, can rear, I don't want to call them problems, but can rear other circumstances slightly different from those who have actually paid into the tax system like W-2 folks. So who do we use for that? Well, we entered good old Janice. All right. So we're going to use Janice as our next sample. And we've done this. So just to revisit, we're going to go here to our client search again. Right here, I see Janice sample. All right. So Janice has some of the same stuff going on that Avery did, right? Janice is a single young lady. She's not married. She's not filing marriage. She's not filing head of household. She's simply filing her taxes. All right. Pay no attention to that. So we give her the filing status single. All right. And then we go fill out all her information. Now here is her driver's license. So we fill out her first name, last name, and her date of birth, which I still question that date of birth. Man, black don't crack. That's how we do. And the social is here. Occupation self, she's self-employed. Even though I don't like putting self, I like to be a little more specific. That's just me, but to each his own. And excuse me. Take this down. All right. Like I was saying, we've got the social, date of birth, self-occupation, which I typically like to be a little more specific. We'll go over these later, but just know that these are the only two that we normally use. Rarely you'll file for somebody who may be blind or deceased, but self-explanatory. Just click these, and the rest of these we typically haven't even worried about. Address, the apartment number, all that information I've input, as well as the email address down here and the phone number. Okay, BM. So now the thing different about her, as opposed to Avery, is that she has a 1099, whereas Avery had a W-2. So this was the 1099 that we used for Avery. Okay. Avery was just a part-time student. All right. Let's just say she lived a soft life. She got a good man. She don't really got or woman, or whatever. She living a good life. Ain't none of my business. And she work a little something part-time. You know what I'm saying? She ain't out there like that. You know what I'm saying? But she work a little part-time. So this is the 1099 she gets for the end of the year. This 1099 shows that she earned about $5,500 throughout the course of 2024. Let's just assume that says 2024 instead of 2021. So we go and enter that information right here. Okay. Now see this? In our income area, we're going to go ahead and put that right here. And so my 1099, I enter it, put in the information that it says. We have on our 1099 that it is the 1099's TIN, taxpayer identification number, right there on the left-hand side underneath the name and such. All right. 10, then all 9. So we've fulfilled that. All right. And then we also have the name, the address, all that information as you see right here. And then as we scroll down, we see the amount, $5,500, box 1. So just put it right here. Number 1, box 1, same thing. And nothing else is listed. So we list nothing else. That's simple. Now, once we get to this part, this is where it gets, and this is where I'm gonna undo this. Okay, that's what we did before. Probably is no longer applicable. So let's just go ahead and let me just do this all over again for everybody. Check this out. We're gonna delete the Schedule C too. All right, so follow along with me this last time. All right, so let's go ahead and enter that for everybody. If you follow along, then you'll see how simple this is. Okay, so using that same 1099, all right, I'm here now on the income page, which you can see over here. And then you're looking for 1099. Now, notice there's a whole heap of 1099s here. 1099 NEC is not the only 1099 that we have access to. In fact, there's, I think, darn near maybe 10 or more different types of 1099s. You can see some of them here. 1099G, not the one for unemployment, but the one that shows how much tax refund you collected from your state last year. There's a 1099 INT, 1099D dividend, 1099 OID. You got the 1099Rs, 1099 SSAs, your other 1099Gs, 1099 MISCs, which is miscellaneous. You got your K, you got your, there's a lot of, okay? But we're focusing on 1099 NEC right now. The 1099 non-employee compensation. Those are going to be the most common for your average income earner outside of your Social Security collectors, okay? So bam, I'm going to go ahead and hit 1099 NEC, and now it's asking for the information. What's the payer's TINN? Oh, looks like it's 10 nines right at the top. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. What's the payer's name? I think it was Z Builders, right? Bam, put that right there because that's what it says. Scroll down just a little bit, and what's the address? I think it was 123 Maple Avenue. 123 Maple Avenue. All right, what was the zip code there? It was all zeros. That's not going to work. We're going to put them in Schenectady. Sorry, Schenectady. And now we scroll down to the non-employee compensation, which we already established is about $5,500. Bam. So there's no other boxes filled. We've established that. Let's go ahead and click it. Ta-da! Here's the part where you have to understand that it flows to a schedule now. All right. If you do a 1099 NEC, it must flow to a schedule. All right. To a Schedule C or a Schedule E, all right, or Schedule F. I mean, we don't do too many farm incomes, but don't mean that, you know, you might be somewhere in Okaloosa. I don't know your life, you know. So you flow the 1099 NEC to another form so that you can enter more information about it. Okay. In this particular instance, since it's a 1099 non-employee compensation that's collected, and I said as a part-time job, not rentals, but a part-time job, then we will go ahead and put this as a Schedule C for business income. Now, you might be thinking, well, she don't have a business. She just works for somebody. Well, when you have a 1099, you are an independent contractor. You're essentially a self-proprietor. You are a business unto yourself, of which you are the only employee to an extent. All right. So unlike being an employee where your Social Security number is who you are, like you are you are an employee. Difference from an employee and a 1099 independent contractor. Like, you technically can't be fired. You know, employees, different story. There's a right to work state here in Florida, and so that's a whole other thing, you know. But you can disassociate your contractorship. We'll leave that for another day. Anyway, we put that information in, so we're gonna flow this to Schedule C. So let's just keep it this simple. 1099 NECs for the time being, unless it's for rental royalties, flow to Schedule C. All right, we'll flow to Schedule C. Bam. Now that registers. What type of business is this? Well, let's just assume that this is an education. I don't know. This is what we ask our client. This is why we're hoping that they gave us their occupation, right? So we want to ask our client, what is it exactly that we are doing with this 1099? Oh, okay. I do beauty. I sell beauty products. Oh, okay. So I can go here to my codes, and I'm just going to type in beauty. All right, and this falls under beauty salons. All right, so we'll go ahead and continue. Oh, let me just go back to this real quick. For those, maybe, for those, who is this? Artist? Oh, wow. My bad, I got a little distracted. I'm sorry. So the reason I didn't put anything in business name and all of that is because this person is using a 1099 to file. But it doesn't always have to mean that they're representing this with their business, okay? This is an independent contractor. They may not necessarily have set up an LLC, a S Corp, anything like that. So for that reason, I'm gonna leave this blank. But if they did have an EIN, which is employer identification number and stuff like that for their business, then I would go ahead and fill this out. But since they didn't, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it right here, okay? I'm going to go ahead and fill out some general expenses, which is where I go next. I think we got about, okay, just a few more minutes left here. And I want y'all to tell me, what are some expenses that you think would be good to fill out here? Just give me an idea of what you think might be some. Just type some in the comments for a second. Let me see what y'all. All right, if you thought, gas, then that's good. If you thought, insurance, that's not bad. If you thought phone expenses, these ain't bad. These are expenses that I think are, fairly common. But just to kind of keep this simple for today, we're just going to use one expense. Okay, we're just going to use one expense. If you notice, I've entered the information. All right. And this up here on the top right is the result. Excuse me. See this? Top right. So according to this, based on them being a single individual with no dependents and having no federal income withheld, they owe a balance due of $385 to the IRS. Now that's before we've entered any expenses for their 1099 NEC. What expenses would qualify? Well, what expenses did this client use specifically and provably, undeniably, in order to help gain that $5,500? Okay, did this client purchase a phone and have a phone line that she can prove was dedicated specifically to this endeavor? So we can use that if that's indeed the case. Thank you. Supplies, absolutely, by all means. Supplies, I love that. Thank you. Supplies. Yes, these are good. These are good. Let me put myself up here a little bit. All right, so let's do this. I'm gonna reduce this, put me over here so I'm not all in the way. Let's go ahead and try training, all of that good stuff. I like this, guys. Thanks for the insurance. Yes, let's keep these all in mind as you all develop your habits. Okay, perfect. Boom. So let's just choose one simple one to show the impact. All right, so let's go with supplies. Okay, Sharice says supplies. So let's assume that this person has receipts and could prove, based on pulling them up for us, that they spent, let's say, $1,000 in supplies. Maybe for storage, or who knows. I'm not big on the beauty thing, obviously, but check it out. So if we have ample receipt and proof that they indeed did spend that, and we can prove that to the IRS without having to worry about it, we enter that $1,000. And let's just say that's all for now. Let's see how that impacts that person's file. So we saw that $5,011, what was listed for the AGI, adjusted gross income. Now that we put in $1,000 for an expense, then it should have an impact on the AGI. That should go down, and the amount that was due should also go down if we did this correct. Didn't go down by that much, okay? Wait a minute. Did it go? It went down, right? I feel like it went up. It went down, right? Because it was like 380 something. I'm pretty sure it went down. I'm almost certain it went down. It better went down. Let me check this. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah. 380, 385. So, but they still owe, but they owe less. Okay. So now we're asking, what else is it that we can prove? All right. Now keep in mind, we're not just throwing everything at the wall here. Okay. You start throwing things that are unjustifiable. If they get a letter from the IRS asking them for information for them to prove not only that this cost existed, but that it was justifiably made in the for the purpose of this endeavor, then you might be in some trouble. Like you might say, look, yes, I spent this money. Here's the receipt. But the IRS might be like, well, yeah, but what does that have to do with, like, what does your trip to Belarus have to do with you selling hair in the end? And you'll have to explain that. And it doesn't mean that it's not qualified, but that's something that could come about. Just be aware of that. Okay. Just be aware of it. So also, let's say, I think I saw some more in the, yep, you see equipment. I like that. Equipment. Hey, Millie, what's going on? Utilities. Okay. So let's look at utilities. Let's just figure this person does show us their phone bill. And say their phone bill averages on average about $200 a month. Okay, the phone bill for the business. It could be like home bundle for the office that they have or whatever. All right. Say we're able to verify a good $2,400 in exclusive phone bill bills for the phone that we can prove to the IRS, and we're going to go ahead and put that on here now. Let's say we have that. All right, which is something that we could do. All right, we do have. I personally like to request bank statements from folks and get their actual statements and go through it so that I can verify that the expense did indeed exist. So we don't have to worry about the IRS saying, no, this is something you made up. Like, no, it happened right here. The justification is a little different. You want to keep notes for that. But in terms of the actual existence of the expense, we like to have some backup for us. And that's a fact. I mean, this is not something I'm just making up. I'll show you right here. Like, we tend to keep folks' bank statements, but I digress. Let's go ahead and get the $2,400 in. So now we've got $3,400 in expenses. We're going to go ahead and hit continue, and this will bring us now to a different outcome. But you see the trend, right? You see, as we enter the expenses, it has an impact on the outcome. In this particular instance, the impact on the outcome is that it reduces the overall amount due because of the amount that is projected as an income being reduced after the expenses are included. Okay. Now, before we head out of here and then start to work on tomorrow's, which tomorrow will be the continuation of this, and how do we get from this point to actually closing out this file? And also, how do dependents impact this file? And also, how do we enter the direct deposit information? How do we make sure we enter the health insurance information? Now, how do we make sure we enter the right health insurance information? Because sometimes we get these forms that we don't even understand what they are, like the 1095C, as opposed to the 1095B. What's the difference between those? What's the difference between the 1099 SSAs and the 1099Rs? Those are some things we're going to go over tomorrow, in addition to us just getting to the end of the form and showing how we can actually get to the completion of this particular file. But as for today, like I said, let's just go ahead and complete this based on the 1099 that we had. And what we now see is that the more we add of qualified expenses, then the greater impact it has. I will leave you all with this, and this is where we'll start tomorrow, okay? So tomorrow we'll see the difference that it has when you do have an actual dependent on your file. For just a brief moment, I'm going to show you how this impacts it. Now I'm going to go back here and I'm going to do away with all that we've already done on the 1090 on the Schedule C. Okay, the Schedule C, I'm going to go ahead and take away the expenses. All right, so I'm going to take this expense away, take away the utilities expense away, take it back to where it's only $5,500 earned, and then they only show you the amount that's after the standard deduction. So that should say about 5011 right now, 5111, 5011 times. Okay, so bam. Now I'm going to go to the dependent and say Janice actually was filing for a dependent. Okay, let's say she was filing for a dependent. Let's just put child for a name. This is just fictitiously, guys. born on New Year's 2019, let's just say. Let's do a quick social security number here. All right. This is a natural born U.S. citizen. Is her actual daughter. Lived with her for 12 months. Hopefully she has a way to prove that. We'll go over that a little later, which is a little complicated. None of this is applicable. All right. I just want to show you the difference in the outcome when there is a dependent on file. So now that I have a dependent on file, that means earned income credit is at play. So guess what happens to the refund? You think it goes up? Think it goes down? I think all of us know that this refund is going to be a little higher. Okay? You see the outcome's a little higher? Now that's based on her income bracket. But remember, this was at the negative before the dependent. All right? So now this client thinks that she willed this. She thinks that because she worked, that she made this happen. But this isn't just because you worked, it's because of the combination of you working and having a qualified dependent. All right? That's the difference. And that's what you have to explain to your client, because they'll think that, look, I worked, I got a 1099, this is how much I deserve back. And you're like, no, that doesn't work that way. W-2s, maybe. If you have dependents, possibly. Do you have a lot of taxes paid? Sure, maybe. But just working and buying stuff does not equate to large refund. And you also have to be, in my opinion, I think it's also a lot better for your clients when you explain to them how taxes work. All right. They have a much, and I think, I do have to say this real quick on the way out. I've got, and I think all of us that have done this for a while, we've got clients that we've grown with, right? Like we've gone through some growing pains, perhaps in some instances. And I could say that some of the growing pains involved folks who, they wanted things of you, the tax preparer, the professional, that you knew you were unable to deliver, right? And then the client then has to decide, is this dude or this young lady actually unable to deliver this? Or is this something that they're just unwilling to do that I could get possibly elsewhere? If that's the case, then elsewhere it is. All right. And that's happened for some folks that I have to tell them, like, look, bro, no, I don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? But some folks, because of your integrity, because of your knowledge of the subject and what can and won't help, all right, they will trust. I do have folks that are like, look, I know maybe I pay a little more with you, but I trust you more and you have more information for me. It's not just bring my information and here's how much you're getting back. It's here's what we're getting back and here's why. Here's what we can do to get better if that's what you want. Here's what we can do to make it less of an obligation. Here's what we can do to keep you from having to have these issues on an annual basis. Here's what we can do with your W-4 so we don't have to worry about you owing at the end of the year. There are so many different ways we can go about this, but you can't do it if you don't have the education to provide that education to your client. So I think that it's best for you to be more than anything helpful, yes, but informational, educational, knowledgeable. I think it goes a lot further than just how much money you can get them back. Because frankly, if you can explain to somebody why they're not getting what they thought they was getting, they'll still come to you in some instances. If they just greedy and they just bound for jail, you gotta let them go, bro. You gotta let them birds fly. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to compromise my integrities and morals for somebody who ain't gonna come visit me. No, I'm cool with that. All right. But that's all for today. I think that I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page with regard to where we had reached. And so moving forward, we want to just kind of finalize some of the basic information with regard to closing a file electronically. What do we do when we get to that last page? How do we give somebody an advance or just a direct deposit? How do we give somebody a paper check? These are some of the things that we're going to address in the days to come. So hopefully there's been enough for you to gather for the time being. And we don't want to overwhelm anybody with way too much to the point where you just tune out. So we'll do these morsels on a daily basis for the next week until we can kind of at least get you covered with the basics. You should be able to go from the very beginning of a file to the end of the file. Throughout the season, there may be some nuances that we may want to recap on. If you have questions, that's what the group's for. That's what our numbers are for. But for the time being, I just want to make sure you can, at the bare minimum, start and finish a file. Gotta make sure, okay? So hopefully this has been informative. We sincerely appreciate everybody for pulling up. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, same bat time, same bat channel, with a new introductory guest for us. So make sure you remember, you will get out of this what you put into it, and we will see you all later. Deuces.